بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So now we've got تأكيد المدح بما يشبه الذم and its opposite تأكيد المدح ذم بما يشبه المدح. So it's basically, it's like you're praising someone but you make it seem like you're criticizing them. So it's like saying, Zaid is an excellent student except that he's hardworking, right? So it's like I'm saying that the only flaw that he has is that as a student is that he's hardworking, which is not a flaw. So you're emphasizing the praise, and you can do the other way around. So he says, قال ابن الرومي ليس به عيب سوى أنه لا تقع العين على شبهه. Wow. He has no flaw except for the fact that no eye can fall on anyone that resembles him. He's so great, there is no one like him. So he's saying he has no flaw except siwa. So to make you think that he's going to say he's got a flaw, but then it turns out he's praising him. وقال آخر لا عيب في معروفهم غير أنه يبين عجز الشاكرين عن الشكر. So there's no flaw in their goodness, the goodness they do to others, except for the fact that it shows the inability of the grateful, the thankful, to show thanks, right? So their goodness is so great, it has no flaws, no shortcomings, except for one, is that it shows that people can't really thank them. So it's quite nice, yeah. Okay. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم, so a narration reported from the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, أنا أفصح العرب بيد أني من قريش. So بيد means like إلا, right? It's like إلا, except. I am the most eloquent of the Arabs, except that I am from Quraysh. And Quraysh is considered to be the most eloquent tribe of the Arabs. So it's like he's gonna say that, it's like he's hinting that, he's not, he's the most eloquent except for one thing which would detract from that, except what he mentions actually reaffirms it. Yeah. And we've got قال النابغة الجعدي فتى كملت أخلاقه غير أنه جواد فما يبقى على المال باقية. So he says he's a noble man whose character is perfected. He's got excellent character and qualities, except that he's generous. فما يبقي على المال باقية. So he's generous, so he can't. He doesn't have any remnant of wealth. He can't maintain any wealth. Because he's so generous, he goes and gives it out, which is a praiseworthy quality. So as you can see, it's so you do this, for praise and for criticism. So as you can see, is doing it in order to show how praiseworthy this person is. So he says, لا أظنك تتردد في أن الأمثلة السابقة جميعها تفيد المدح. I don't think you're going to be unsure that all of the previous examples give they're praising. لكنها وضعت في أسلوب غريب لم تعهده ولذلك نرى أن نشرحه لك. But it's been placed in a strange way that you're not used to, so we think we should explain it for you. صدر ابن الرومي في المثال الأول كلامه بنفي العيب عامة عن ممدوحه. So Ibn Rumi starts his speech in the beginning by negating in a general sense all sorts of flaws, right, from the person who is praising. ثم أتى بعد ذلك بأداة استثناء هي سوى. Then he mentions the tool of exception, like إلا, هي سوى. فسبق إلى وهم السامع أن هناك عيبا في الممدوح. So what he does is he shows the listener that so what comes to the mind of the listener is that whoever he's praising actually does have a flaw. And وأن ابن الرومية سيكون جريئا في مصارحته به. And Ibn Rumi is going to daringly mention what it is. ولكن السامع لم يلبث أن وجد بعد أداة الاستثناء صفة مدح. But then the hearer, after this istithna, he just hears a quality of praise. فراعه هذا الأسلوب. So he's amazed by this أسلوب, and it's really beautiful, when it's done properly. ووجد أن ابن الرومية خدعه فلم يذكر عيبا, and he finds that Ibn Rumi actually tricked him, and he doesn't mention an عيب. Rather بل أكد المدح الأول في صورة توهم الذم, but rather he emphasized the initial praise in a form which gives a hint of criticism. ومثل ذلك يقال في المثال الثاني, and the same could be said in the second example. انظر إلى المثال الثالث. Look at the third example. تجد أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وصف نفسه بصفة ممدوحة وهي أنه أفصح العرب, and that he describes himself with the quality which is praiseworthy, which is saying that he is the most eloquent of the Arabs. لكنه أتى بعدها بأداة استثناء فدهش السامع. But after that he mentions the أداة of istithna, and the listener is like amazed, like, what's he saying? وظن أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيذكر بعدها صفة غير محبوبة, and he thinks that after that the Prophet is going to mention a quality which is not praised. ولكن سرعان ما هدأت نفسه حين وجد صفة ممدوحة بعد أداة الاستثناء. But then really quickly his mind comes to rest, and he finds that he's mentioning a different a quality of praise after the tool of istithna. وهي أنه من قريش, which is that he's from Quraysh. وقريش أفصح العرب غير منازعين, and with no contest, Quraysh are the most eloquent of the Arabs. فكان ذلك توكيدا للمدح الأول في أسلوب ألف الناس سماعه في الذم. So that's actually emphasis of the previous praise in a style which people are usually used to hearing when it comes to criticism. وكذلك يقال في المثال الأخير, and the same could be said in the last example. ويسمى هذا الأسلوب في جميع الأمثلة المتقدمة وما جاء على شاكلتها تأكيد المدح بما يشبه الذم. And this style in all the previous examples and that which resembles it is called emphasizing praise with that which resembles criticism. وهناك أسلوب لتوكيد الذم بما يشبه المدح, and it's like you could say, for example, Zayd just has the worst hygiene, except for the fact that his breath smells. It's the same way, right? So it's like it's that. So there's a style of emphasizing criticism in a way that makes it seem like there's going to be praise, and that's like the previous example. له صورتان, he has two versions. فالأولى نحو لا جمال في الخطبة إلا أنها طويلة في غير فائدة. So someone gives a speech and you say there's nothing beautiful about this speech except for the fact that it's really long without any purpose, right? And ثانية القوم شحاح إلا أنهم جبن. So he's saying these people are miserly, they're tight, except that they're also cowards. So there's no praise here. So القواعد. So تأكيد المدح بما يشبه الذم. There's two types. One, أن يستثني من صفة ذم منفية صفة مدح. So, from a quality of criticism you negate it with the quality of praise, right? And two, أن يثبت لشيء صفة مدح ويثبت لشيء صفة المدح ويؤتى بعدها بأداة الاستثناء تليها صفة مدح أخرى. So you mention something with the quality of praise, and then you say except that, you bring the أداة الاستثناء, and then you mention another thing of praise, right? So the opposite is this is the opposite. Yeah, ويستثنى من صفة مدح منفية صفة ذم. So from a from a quality of praise you negate. It's like لا جمال في الخطبة إلا أنها, right? So it's the same thing, right? So that's تأكيد المدح بما يشبه الذم, and it's opposite. Next we have Uslub al Hakim, which is basically it's giving a good reason and for the listener's not expecting what you're gonna say, and you present a different understanding. Sometimes it's basically is to show, look, you should be focusing on this, not that, right? So just turning the attention of the person to something more appropriate. It's a nice style. So the example, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ. So the Sahaba asking about the moon. Why does the new moon start so small, and then it grows and it becomes so small, over the month? قُلْ هِيَ مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ وَالْحَجِّ. So Allah says, it's for a timing for people, right? So lunar calendar and for Hajj, right? So he has answered the question, but he's given them an answer which is more appropriate for them. وقال ابن جريج قد ثقلت إذا أتيت مرارا فقلت ثقلت كاهلي بالأيادي. So someone says, I've become a burden because I keep coming to you. Yeah. So the person responds, no, you've made my kahil is basically your shoulder. It's basically your shoulder girdle and your upper back, right? And your shoulders and your upper back. You've made my upper back heavy with all the favors that you've given. So it's a nice way of turning something around. Yeah. So that's how it's done. And another one said, قال طولت قلت أوليت طولا قال أبرمت قال حبل ودادي. Right? And so he says, someone says طولت, I've taken too long. So he says أوليت طولا, you've actually given a gift. Tawl is basically generosity. It's like when you have enough money to do what you want, right? Fulfill your project. So you're actually giving me money, right? And then he says, so someone says abramtu, I've made my mind up, right? It literally means like to spin threads together to make a strong rope. And he says, so what you've actually threaded together is the rope of my affection for you, right? It's just a nice way. For example, Sidi Abu Munir al-Sha'ar, one of the great righteous men alive today, he's in Jordan right now. If you say to Sheikh Ali Hani once said to him, قصرت فيكم, like, I'm sorry, I was deficient, like I didn't give you what you deserved. I was deficient. So he said, قصوركم عالية, your deficiencies are something high. It's really nice, right? البحث, سبحان الله. So قد يخاطبك إنسان أو يسألك سائل عن أمر من الأمور. Sometimes a person can address you, or someone can ask you about a matter, فتجد في نفسك ميلا إلى الإعراض عن الخوض في موضوع الحديث أو الإجابة عن السؤال لأغراض كثيرة. So you might find yourself an inclination to turn away from the topic of discussion, or to turn away from answering, right? For various reasons. منها أن السائل أعجز من أن يفهم الجواب على الوجه الصحيح. One of them could be that the questioner is unable to understand the answer properly. وأنه يجمل به أن ينصرف عنه إلى النظر فيما هو أنفع له وأجدى عليه. And it's better for him to turn away from that to something which is better, more beneficial for him and more appropriate. ومنها أنك تخالف محدثك في الرأي ولا تريد أن تجبره برأيك فيه, I think could be. And you don't want to force him with your opinion. You have a different opinion, you don't want to force yours onto him. وفي تلك الحال وأمثالها تصرفه في شيء من اللقابة عن الموضوع الذي هو فيه إلى ضرب من الحديث تراه أجدر وأولى. So basically what you do is you turn him away from the topic to a topic which you find is more suitable for him. So he says انظر إلى المثال الأول. Look at the first example. تجد أن أصحاب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم سألوه عن الأهلة. You find that the companions asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم about the crescent. لما تبدو صغيرة ثم تزداد حتى يتكامل نورها ثم تتضاءل حتى لا ترى. Why does it start off small and then it increases in size until its light is complete, and then it starts to diminish until it can't be seen? وهذه مسألة من مسائل علم الفلك يحتاج في فهمها إلى دراسة دقيقة طويلة. So this is a matter of astronomy, and it takes a lot of understanding, detailed understanding to realize what's actually going on. فصرفهم القرآن الكريم عن هذا البيان، عن هذا ببيان أن الأهلة وسائل للتوقيت في المعاملات والعبادات. So Allah turned them away. The Quran indicates that the crescent and the moon is basically a means of timing people's mu'amal, they're dealing with each other. We use the solar calendar, but the Arabs use the lunar calendar, and for their worship. So إشارة منه إلى أن الأولى بهم أن يسألوه عن هذا. So to indicate that it's better for them to ask about this. وإلى أن البحث في العلوم يجب أن يرجع قليلا حتى تتوطد الدول وتستقر صخرة الإسلام. And he's saying that it's better to focusing on these sciences and these points of science should be delayed until the political matter of Islam is settled, because in Medina this. And then he says وصاحب ابن حجاج في المثال الثاني يقول له. So Ibn Hajjaj's friend, he says to him, قد ثقلت عليك بكثرة زياراتي. I've become wearisome to you. I've become boredom to you because I keep visiting you. فيصرف عن رأيه في أدب وظرف وينقل كلمته من معناها إلى معنى آخر. So he changes his opinion with good manners and wit, and he alters his words from its meaning to something else. ويقول له, and he says to him, إنك ثقلت كاهلي بما أغديت يكبي أغددت علي من نعم. You've made my shoulders wearisome, tired because of all the favors you've actually given me. ومثل ذلك يقال في البيت الثاني. You could say the second verse. وهذا النوع من البديع يسمى أسلوب الحكيم. This is called the style of the wise, right? القاعدة: أسلوب الحكيم تلقي المخاطب بغير ما يرتقبه. It's responding to the one you're addressing with something he's not expecting. إما بترك سؤاله والإجابة عن سؤال لم يسأله. Either by not responding to him and giving him a different answer answer to something he didn't ask, وإما بحمل كلامه على غير ما كان يقصد, or by interpreting his words in a way he didn't intend. إشارة إلى أنه كان ينبغي له أن يسأل هذا السؤال أو يقصد هذا المعنى, to indicate that it's better for him to intend this or ask this question or intend this. And so basically that's it. That's Uslub al Hakim, and that's the last of what he covers, or what the authors cover in this book. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين أولا وآخرا. And there we are. Okay, may Allah accept this from us and make it a means for us to see the i'jaz and eloquence of the Quran, and for the meanings of the Quran to mix with our very flesh and blood, and for us to embody it and pass it on to others in a way that convinces them and makes them want to apply it in their lives. And وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.